Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have Elise, the original Queen of the Jungle. This time, rushing the Electrocute, not the Dark Harvest for the scaling because it's a challenger Korean game. And we've had a lot of Master Tier games and sort of long games and wishy-washy things. But what does perfection look like? And what does it look like with a true hidden OP meta jungler? Now, you know, 9 times out of 10 we're going to say, listen, Elise probably shouldn't be good in the meta. It doesn't make sense for her to have such a good win rate, but she has a good win rate. She's had a good win rate, and we didn't really get a lot of changes. You know, in the recent memory, we had the neurotoxin range increase buff. That was kind of nice, but there hasn't been any sort of like, hey, Elise is suffering, wheezing, let's give her some nice quality of life fixes. No, she's just good, and it's really weird because according to the populace, you know, the popular meta and the popular opinions, she's not that great. However, the win rate and data, it's greater than feelings, my friends. You can feel X, but if the data says Y, then Y is most likely where we go. Now, obviously, blind data makes no sense, and you have to look at things within the context, but Elise is not one of those low elo champions that is going to get away with, you know, some sort of nonsense that makes no sense. When Elise is good, when Elise does well, it's most likely because she's doing well in the high elo players, elo range, right? It's not because like the whole Rammus and Japanese server kind of meme that I Will Dominate had a few years ago. This is someone who is always going to be strong as a champion, and it's going to be representative of the typical power curve that she has in high elo play. Now, at the same time, again, we're not in the sort of 3 ganking meta. We haven't been for a while. We did have red Flexi clear with the red Raptors Grump, but the whole point of that was a Scuttle Crab fullback, snowball potential from bot lane ganks into dragons, and also the ability to reverse sweep to the other side. And guess what? With the new jungle meta, she can do that, and she's also using one of the most powerful items we have in the game at the moment. You ready for it? What is it? Night Harvester. Oh, quickly, yes, while you kind of choke on that truth, waiting for the minion wave here. This is absolutely normal and fine. The spiderling, that can be seen, by the way. If you were looking here, you could see that little minion show up. Let's just have a look at this. Is really, actually really interesting. Here we are. Look at that. You see? So if you were the blue team and she uses this and you were like, oh my goodness, maybe I got invaded. I'm F-King here. You would see this, right? So just keep it in mind as you're going for that, but ideally, yeah, when you go for these sort of level 1 invades and you want to control the whole quadrant, then if the Talia doesn't suspect you've taken everything, which is a little bit weird, she should have anticipated that, you can just wait for the minion wave to cross over here, and then you can take it, especially considering you might assume that Talia is doing this vertical jungling, which she isn't. She shows, so we pull out and we say, fine, going to the Grump. Why? Because Red Raptor's Grump gives us level 3. Are you following? Good. Night Harvester is super strong. I just made an S+ OP builds kind of compilation meta assessment on the main channel. I will link the main channel beneath. You can go ahead and watch that to discuss what kind of builds are thriving and why they're making certain junglers super giga mega strong. The Amumu gets hooked, the Cocoon misses, Talia's in the zone, she chucks a W that hits absolutely nothing. Now they are hitting the target in front of them, which is a Blitzcrank. Always hit the target in front of you, peel as necessary, and then go to the next target in front of you, kite backwards here as much as possible. Oh, a kill for a kill, and now it's Talia versus the Elise, jungler versus jungler, W will hit. We, of course, missed that again, which is a bit unfortunate. We do have flash if we need to use it. Will we? Can the Spiderlings tank anything? Oof, we're going to have to use it. Flash repel into a King's Applause, beautiful outplay, saving your flash and repel for the most crucial moment. There's always that benefit you get from repelling afterward as well in Elise's kit. So, quite a chaotic beginning, but at the same time, a lot to unpack, actually. I mean, normally we wouldn't kind of coach this up, but I think with the challenger game, it's important. Remember, if you go on these invades early, and they go vertical, you are taking longer to take this quadrant, and she is taking longer to take this quadrant. Vertical isn't really desired at this particular point in time in the meta. It's not something we're kind of trying to enforce in any sort of way. Now, this particular moment here, we are camping this lane and we are doing it with impunity. Talia shows up to the bottom side as well. This is particularly very strange to me. Hold on, let's just see what happens here. The Amumu has based the, well, he's just got boots basically, so they didn't work out at all. Let's see what vision they have here. You know, in this particular scenario, the Talia going down to this side doesn't make a lot of sense because, yeah, the Raptor camp is going to spawn, but the Scuttle is gone. Elise is most likely going to deal with the blue side herself. There's not going to be anything for the Talia to fall back to, so a little bit chaotic in this early game, and definitely she should have gone top side and looked to make equal and opposite. We don't want to results-based the fact that she got kills there because that, you know, diminishes the nature of strategically thinking about your pathing, right? Oh, I'm going to go bot lane and see what happens. Not really a good strategy. Okay, so back to the Night Harvest and talk about these S plus builds as we once more go to the bot lane. Can I have a moment, please? Yes, thank you. Can we base now? Finally, we have how much in pocket? Yeah, no, 2,000. Let's go back to base. Footsec here. So we have the Quinn killing the Aatrox, and the Night Harvester is so strong because it gives you the replacement proc of damage if you wanted to go Night Harvester or First Strike, and you perhaps didn't have that Electrocute in your pocket. It also guarantees assassination, but most importantly, it gives haste for spell rotation. Beautiful on Silas, beautiful on Elise, beautiful on anyone who buys it actually. It also has 90 AP, 300 HP. It has the mythic passive of haste as well. So you're getting, and the movement speed passive boost, which is beautiful when you want to go in, assassinate, and then reposition. Really huge, we'll take it. Load of stats for you to use in the particular meta, and it just kind of synergizing with the way the jungle item works, giving a lot of damage in the mid game as you continue to clear fast, getting that 40 treats down to 20, down to 0, but at the same time matches up well with the other junglers that you're seeing kind of running around in the meta, and that's the most important thing here. When you're an AP jungler and you match up well 1v1, and you can kind of impact lanes, and this item allows you to scale really heavily. I mean, we've all seen the Silas Night Harvester. Then you give thumbs up to the itemization. Now, what are we looking at here in particular? This late invade prevents an enemy jungler. Look, so you see that deep ward here? Walk through this. I don't care really what elo you are, but if the bot lane has prio and the jungler's moving around, a lot of fistings, walk through the brushes just to ensure you're not walking over an obvious control ward. If they put a vision ward, nothing we can do unless we want to scan it, but keep your eyes open for that kind of stuff. We are really looking for high intensity, perma-ganking, falling back to camp sort of jungling, and at this point, you know, the Talia is going to start to catch up if we don't get away with these ganks. Now, Talia does show bottom lane. They do see the Elise coming down. The Elise says, I'm going to go bot lane, get a flash Q here, repel to the Talia. We're going to get knocked up there by the Blitzcrank. We will be able to swap form again, and we have the Cocoon in, and it's up, and we should chain that together. We get knocked back by the Talia. The Neurotoxin range here will come into usefulness if we actually get there, but it looks like he's just going to... It did actually come into usefulness, but you can also, of course, auto attack, right? So just using your auto attacks, very crucial. And now we translate this to mid lane gank. Remember, with this kind of style, there's a lot of downside if you don't get the ganks going. So your ganking success rate needs to be optimal. And I have released a ganking video on the main channel as well, breaking that down. Like, how can I make my ganking good? Because if you're going to deny... It's just funny seeing people try so hard to go into a Syndra and she scatters the weak. The Amumu's are rotating with us here. We're just biding our time patience. The Cocoon misses again. Doesn't really matter. Better to save that Cocoon for follow-up CC, actually. The Talia now shows up here. 4-1-1 as well. So the Talia, I didn't like the fact that she went bot lane again unless you had some sort of like obvious visual confirm that, I mean... Got to be cautious about that. I mean, that's where the treats at 20 matters, but now the Talia is starting to get quite fat. She's starting to move around the map quite well as well, matching the Elise, but getting not a lot of farm. And that's where you take in the first Raptors. We saw her Cocoon hits. Look at this here. You see this? You see this? And just to go back to it, you see here, we don't have the Spiderling action in this particular moment, but ideally, you've got the Neurotoxin, you've got the auto attack, you've got the Spiderling. And when you swap to Spider Form and Q a target, right, with that Spider Bite, the Spiderling, if it hasn't hit something, will fly to the target as well, basically giving you a huge amount of damage. But she doesn't have those same natural AP ratios. Again, great Cocoon. You see that? You see how smooth the form swapping needs to be. You need to be able to repel anticipated skill shots, swap back to human form to make sure you can hit an auto attack, Neurotoxin Q, human form Q as possible, but also hit your Cocoon if necessary. So Elise's power curve, Elise's difficulty is not just using the kit, it's using the kit around the anticipation of what the enemy's going to want to do while weaving your form swapping beautifully. And more haste on all of these abilities through Night Harvester, through all sorts of cooldown-based stats. Again, double thumbs up. Now, I wasn't a fan of the Talia, as I said, but, you know, nice, messy game. And this is, we walked over that. The Elise thrives in this particular chaos. Finally, we get it into the Cocoon. We can't miss that one. We'll get this done. We'll get the Spiderling. We'll get the Spider Bite, execute damage. And we'll chase the next one down. Make sure you activate that W and Spider Form. Attack speed, attack speed, attack speed. Great on turrets. Wow. Okay. So what we've learned from the Silas video I put out this week, and what we've learned about the Elise video we've learned this week, is that the hyper-ganking strong PvP junglers are having great success, because if you can use it to counter jungle 2, 3, 4 camps, steal some crucial buffs, The fact that you're trying to get down to 20 trees and they're trying to get down to 20, they're trying to get down to 20 trees, it's just beneficial for you because they can't just walk into your jungle, okay, and counter jungle those things. Again, great use of repel. They remember tank some shots. We close down. We get the kill on the Draven. We leave. We can use our little babies to tank skill shots should they be chasing us. Obviously, earlier we saw that with the Elise running away from the Taliyah, but you didn't have the Spiderlings at that particular moment. Fall back into this one, full fluid combo, back into Spider form, activate your W. This is so strong and fluid in terms of, it's like ordered chaos in a way. And the reason she's doing so well is because Night Harvester amplifies everything she possibly needs at a one item spike to take over the game. But at the same time, she's very, very strong in 1v1 settings if she can make the pick. And she's also strong in objectives. We haven't had a lot of objectives here. The Mumbas are rotating to the top lane. We have deep vision here. They do see us here unless that gets taken down. I don't think it's been taken down now. So that's getting a lot of value there. We see this, obviously, that she's doing that. So equal and opposite jungling, very, very strong as well. But you know, when you're worried about challenger players hitting skill shots and you think, wow, I didn't win this game because I missed a skill shot, sure. Missing a crucial skill shot can affect the outcome of a game, but she's missing a lot of skill shots this game. Excuse me, I'll take that as well. 18, 17 stacks, treats, excuse me, as well as 19 on the Taliyah there. So if you are a farming jungler against an Elise, how do we defeat this kind of pressure? Because the Taliyah trying to match it, but Taliyah can farm better. She has better quadrant control. She has better fluidity in her game plan than an Elise does, right? Elise, if these ganks didn't work out, difficult time. She has to fall back to a camp. She has to try and farm, and guess what? She can, but it's not really what you want to do. Now, do you want a more DPS focused build? We can go the Nash's Tooth, of course. But in this particular case, I love the fact that we've fully realized the PvP skirmish ability of the champion, and we're utilizing the Magi, Sork Boots, and Night Harvester to just propel the game state. This is all driven by the Elise. 10-0-4 doesn't happen because your supporter Mumu roamed once or twice with you, right? 10-0-4 doesn't happen because of anything other than you being a good jungler. If you're a farming jungler and you want to defeat this style, my best advice is as follows. If you know she goes down and does this late invade level 1, just vertical it. Yeah, it's slower, but at the same time, it's going to take her longer to clear these camps, and you're going to be this side by the time she shows, and you're going to have nothing to do. So it's better just to kind of ward and anticipate and respect it. Don't try and play her game. Set up some counter gankings through trackings, like the Taliyah did earlier, but of course she had no fallback, right? So the Taliyah got something, but what if she didn't? That's just a raptor camp up. Draven should have seen this, does not see it. We'll get the Taliyah also showing up again. But that's just one Q on a full HP Taliyah on a spell that scales with missing HP. Okay, well, we went into the human form here, but that scales with the missing HP of a champion. Here we go, there we are. Missing HP damage, and that was a full HP Taliyah, so yeah. Strong skirmishing powers, strong spell avoidance with her repellent and positioning, excellent stun bot CC later in the game, and most importantly, she can push towers, and this is something we're seeing a lot of in junglers who get the Herald early, but also can take down turrets because of the increased resistances and the decreased charge damage on the Herald. You're not able to elevate the game state or get as much as you think you are owed, but fortunately, Elise, you know, navigates that by just not really caring that much. Azir as well, it's going to take the turn. Now we just trap. Now we are a fully fledged assassin. And this is where we want to keep our pressure here. We're not going into our jungle warrior with 15-0 treats. We're looking to see, right, you guys have to come and deal with this. Can I kill you? And then I will deal with my camps, right? So the more gray screen you can give the enemy team, the more forgiveness, good dodge, you will have by being able to fall back to your camps at a slower pace. And so you're seeing here the strength of equal and opposite jungling. You're seeing here the strength of a jungler who can just get into the enemy jungle, take some camps, stop their snowball from farming, and obviously you're seeing how you can snowball lanes. It's a very snowbally meta, which is why Sidus and Elise are doing so damn well, but also the itemization just suits them fine. You know, you've got a lot of Jack Show people running around. Now, I'm not always an advocate of staying this long in a bush or this long in the jungle. I feel like now you're playing with it, but at the same time, they're going to get a false sense of security. They'll over push up mid lane. If there's really nothing, you can go ahead and take this. As an Elise cheeser, yeah, you could do this. This is someone we want to kill here. We have Flash Cocoon. Do we want to go for it? 3 people? We do. We have Repel. Azir's going to go in for his Flash Insect, his Shurima Shuffle. We miss our Cocoon again. We kill the turret and we'll get 2 kills for that as well. So, or 1 kill. Not the cleanest, but again, I like that we're missing... Oh, it was a double kill. I like that we're missing the cocoons here because it just shows you that you got a little bit of the Z effect, right? Missing spells but still killing people at the same time. It's just a CC spell. So as long as you hit everything else, the cocoon doesn't do much. Like it positions them so you can hit your W, you can hit your spider form Q, you can obviously hit your human form Q beforehand. That's great, and obviously it allows your team to follow up. But if you can easily get onto them and hit all your spells and you miss the cocoon, it's okay. But the problem with the cocoon is if they're fast, they're disengaging, you need to hit that CC for everyone to follow up and for you to kill them, then of course you want to hit it. Like, you don't want to miss it, right? And so I'm not saying, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying there is a certain forgiveness when you reach this amount of damage. As long as you can hit your spiderling with your spider form Q, there we go. That right there is what we were waiting for. The chill, wait for it, over push, flash into the cocoon. Good job, Talia. That doesn't do anything at all. The Talia is now 10 stacks of HP. You see the minion just ate a hook. They're perfect. It's exactly what we're looking for. This is why Elise is strong. 25 stacks, sword boots, night harvester, overwall, one-shots in ADC, has spiderlings and repel to navigate enemy team CC and spells, and now she can leave the situation easily 2 levels up just by living in her jungle, taking all the... Oh. Play Elise, my friends. Recommended for Diamond and above. I think you can learn it in Platinum, but again, this is high-risk jungling. You are not sequencing your camps, you are cheesing, you are highly aggressive, you're playing like a Silas. Can you fall back to 7 CS per minute? Yes, you can, but you're really banking on that repeat gank, river control flow. It's highly paced. You can see here, I'm trying to pause to talk about things, and we just go to the next thing, and we go to the next thing, and that's literally how you play Elise at such a high pace. There's a full combo on a Scuttle Crab. We hit one. So nice to hit one. We have here 3,200 in pocket. Don't do the YouTuber challenge. You don't need 5k before you go back to base. You can go back to base now to buy your itemization. Do we want to go Lich Bane? You could. Do we want to go Nash's? You could. Or do we just want to go full on Death Cap Void Staff, Shadow Flame? Probably the best way to go when you're playing Electrocute. We have had a few Nash's games recently on the gameplay channel this season. Talia is still able to do that, right? Now remember, 4 stacks left to go, 10 stacks on the Talia. She just hasn't had any ability to go into the jungle due to the lane states and the gankings by the Elise. There's a Spiderling. Watch the... Okay, so it does hit. We'll just hit that Q. Play with your food a little bit as a good Spider Wool, and then do the Giga Smite as you need to. Careful here, though. You do have a lot of shutdown. We know the Draven's in the area. You know the Blitzcrank can snag a hook. Ah, they're all mid lane, so never mind. You could push this as well. To see the strength of power pushing, you can push lanes. So if you're in an elo like in Platinum, you're learning Elise, but this is fine. But you throw at 35, it's because you're not pushing towers enough. So at this point, the downside for me to playing this level of aggressiveness in Challenger is... sorry, not in Challenger, it's fine in Challenger, but in other elos, is you're gonna need to fall back to your camps. Instead of waiting 12,000 years for this, you might actually get more kills in every other elo, but ideally fall back to the quadrants, reset, get yourself a needlessly large rod, take this quadrant, look to push here, you know, make your plays. You can always fall back to camps as well, so you can leave the base, make plays, and then fall back to the quadrant. Just quadrant, rotate, or rotate back to your quadrant. Just weave in those camps such that you do have the 20, you know, completed by 17, 18, because eventually your team's gonna do this, and you are gonna need to go for the objectives, which he does, focus your objectives, and they will overcommit. We're 15-0-7 though. Death Cap Rush, oh my goodness gracious. Oh boy. Cocoon, auto attack, neurotoxin, spiderling, spider swap, Q, dead. That's it. And how do you compete with something when it can do that, rinse objectives, and now you just don't have the ability to get your treats? Like 7 treats, we're at 1. We'll get the final one here on the dragon. The snowball effect of the treats is really interesting here. That's why we like this kind of playstyle for certain champions. Aatrox getting bullied a little bit this game by the Quinn top lane with minimal interaction from the jungler, except for that one gank. I mean, I know Mumu went top lane, but this is the level of intensity I want to see if you're playing a Rek'Sai, an Elise, a Sylas. I know Sylas can fall back to 7 CS per minute. So can Elise though, right? The scaling of Night Harvest into your damage in the camps really is meaningful. It's meaningful and it allows you to kind of definitely keep up with everything. You can also repel to plants here, so that's the most important thing. Repel to the plant here, in and out of the pit. There are some bugs where, like, bugs, features. You can't repel to this, but you can repel to this kind of stuff, elevation and so on. Don't ask me why. There was actually a post, I think I saw a post, that's why it reminded me. It's been a long time since I played Elise in sort of like a serious capacity, but I saw the post on Reddit mentioning that it's been like this forever. Can you just fix this so Elise can repel to wolves on both sides of the map? This is where she gets a little weaker, so you want to make sure you're as strong as possible, okay? Whoa, that's spiraling damage. You see what I'm saying? You're a damage assassin. Yes, Dark Harvest gives you better scaling, but you are, look at this, you see she's biting the edge here much like an assassin, so I made the assassin excellent repel on the hook as well. We'll be able to get some kills onto the rest of them, very nice. The Q acts as a little bit of a dash as well, just so you know. So, really an exquisitely high pressure game. The Talia did not respect the early rotations, did not respect the Elise's power. Yes, she was 4-1-1, but she lost her chems. She wasn't able to counter jungle to the same capacity. Elise just kept forcing the moves, and honestly, despite missing more cocoons than I've ever seen a challenger Elise play miss, clinic. Absolute clinic. 7 to go, man. 7. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking to you guys about. Why is counter jungling good? Why are these aggressive plays good? As long as you are successful, and I think most importantly here, you will note, you know, we ganked. Different angles of approach the whole time. Always looking for different approaches to make sure that we can finish the game off. 51 to 36, they decide they're going to FF this game. I didn't want to focus on a late game because we had quite a few 30-minute plus games. I have made the assassin video, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, before we got once more distracted by the action. So, main channel assassin video will explain to you how to fight around your cooldowns, moving in and out. Elise will be approaching fights that same way. At this particular point, Night Harvester has done 2,000 damage in 21 minutes with 25 stacks of Magi. The Shadow Flame completed. Could just go straight to the Void stuff, to be honest with you, but a bit of HP against comps like this that can kind of coin flip a death is always useful. So, a chaotic game. An interesting game. I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Please do like, share, and comment if you did. Subscribe as well. Don't forget to sprinkle your love across all the channels. Zara GG guides for Elise and everyone else linked below. Live companion tips to help navigate the chaos of this champion. And as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.